Welcome to Sit, Stay, Read, the podcast for every wag, whinny, and whisker. I'm Kathleen Donnelly, award-winning author and retired canine handler. Each week, I chat with novelists about the bond we share with our furry friends and how they inspire stories. Grab a coffee, get cozy with your favorite pet. It's time to sit, stay, read. Well, today I am thrilled to welcome award-winning mystery author Sandra Balzo to the show. Sandra's latest release is the start of a new series, Poison and Pooches, and it's going to be a really fun series. This was a really fun book to read. Sandra, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Kathleen. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited about the new series too.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I think I enjoyed it. I used to dog sit. I used to pet sit. And I thought, gosh, yes, there are so many opportunities in pet sitting where you could discover something.
There really are. I had my first series is set in a coffee house in Wisconsin, which is where I'm originally from. And my main character, Ariel in the new series is actually from that series. And I
Okay.
introduced her as the niece of one of my leads, one of the coffee house owners, because I thought that very same thing.
Okay.
Somebody is living in your house. They have, in this case, I was thinking, access to your passwords on your computer, and they have, all sorts of opportunities to do things. And so I kind of went with that and introduced Ariel. And then then when I started talking to my editor and my agent about doing a dog sitting book, I thought, well, I have a character I can spin off. So that's part of the fun of that is that I already had a character there and I could take her. I kind of had to get her out of jail first. That's a whole nother story. That's a different series.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, she wasn't a really bad girl, but she did make some bad decisions as
Okay.
as they say. So and she's in her 20s, so she can do that and still come back
Yeah.
from it. And then I had her inherit a house in on the Peninsula in Pacific Grove, which is where I live now. So it was a nice opportunity. Um, I haven't been in Wisconsin for what's it been? Probably 15 years.
Okay.
And so, there are lots of things I could remember about Wisconsin. I have family and things there, but it starts getting harder to set something there and assume that you know everything.
That makes sense.
Because your main character only has to know in that series, my main character is Maggie, and I write that book in first person. So my take on it was always Maggie only has to know what I know, and I only have to know what Maggie knows. And so if I do make a mistake, it's just because Maggie didn't know. So that was okay. When I set this series here, new place, new situation, and so I had to make sure that when I was talking about the Monterey Peninsula, which is more famous than my fictional town of Brook Hills, Wisconsin. I had to make sure that it was all right. So I have friends here who helped me with that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And it was fantastic. The setting was wonderful. And I I looked up to see if you were living in the California area now. So it was fun to see you are. And I was also wondering, yeah, I was reading this thinking, wait a minute, this is the first in a new series, but I feel like there's a lot of story here. So thank you for answering that question. And it makes me want to go read your coffee house, which along with,
Exactly the idea.
yeah, well, I was gonna say along with dogs, you hit my other love,
Yeah,
coffee.
yeah.
So
Well, it's kind of hard to write without giving everything away, in that the
yeah.
last sort of what I call the crossover book from Coffee series into the new series, which is the last of the Coffee series. I actually have it here.
Oh,
Wait,
cool.
show you.
Oh,
Grew unto
fantastic.
others.
I love that title.
And that's I know, me too. I wish I could take credit for it. My agent came up with it. I was coming up with all
Okay.
sorts of all of them have coffee puns, no size, but I was coming up with all court. kind of like silly things. And she said, "I wanted to do this the whole time." Thursday. I thought, why did it take me 17 books to come up with that? So, but that book is set half in Wisconsin and half in Pacific Grove,
Okay.
where Ariel inherits her house. And was great fun to write. But starting the new series, you're starting out fresh. You have
Yeah.
new readers, but don't necessarily want to give away everything that happened in that
Yeah.
last book. So you have to be a little bit harsh about the whole thing. And uh, usually my agent will come back and say, more information here. You
Yeah.
have to, yeah, that's one of the things that she's very good at. I mean, I love my editor. I'm sorry. I love my editor, Sarah, and she does a great job making me if I'm being a little tricky about something, and she will nail me down and make me say exactly what I need to give the readers enough information for them to understand, but yet still history, obviously.
Yeah, no, and I thought you did a great job because everything
Oh,
made
thank you.
sense. And if anything, it just made me go, oh, wait a minute, we have some other books to read. So I'm glad to hear
Oh,
that. And we meet Ariel at an interesting time because not only did she inherit a house, it comes with a guest house and it's getting fumigated for termites, which cracked me up. I thought, hey, even these little critters are going to help us discover something. So give us a little introduction. We don't do spoilers unless you really, for some reason, want to, but otherwise, I stay away from spoilers. But give us a little introduction to Poison and Pooches and the mystery part.
you bet, you bet. Well, Ariel has inherited a house with a guest house and a garage on the property from her great grandmother. She has broken ties with her family back in Wisconsin and moved out to Pacific Grove. And the house is actually based on a real house here,
I
or a
was
set of
wondering.
houses. Yes, it's loosely based, I should say. I was taking a walk once with we have three dogs, and I was taking a walk with two of them, and went past a property that had a for sale sign, and then it said six houses. I thought, what?
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was a city block too. But it was these houses. A lot of the houses in Pacific Grove used to be. I'm gonna get the religion wrong. I'm sorry about this. Either Baptist or more. I think it was a Baptist women's retreat back
Oh,
in the
interesting.
1800s.
Okay.
Yeah, and so Lovers Point, which is a very real place that I talk
Huh.
about in Pacific Grove, was actually Lovers of Jesus Point. And
Wow.
so, it wasn't where the kids went and sat in the cars and
Huh.
made out. This is where women would come for sort of religious weekends to study the Bible and stuff. And so a lot of our lots where our homes are set are quite small because it used to be a tent community, if you can believe that.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, I'm passing this property, which I think was actually a double lot that had six houses
Huh.
on it. So that stopped me. So I went back and looked at the property when it was had an open house on that Sunday. And it was neat work, let's say, but it was wonderful. And you start imagining what could have happened in those homes. I mean, these most of the houses around here are 100 years old.
Wow.
And so that's where Ariel's house, which is a main house with a guest house, and the guest house picks up to a garage. And has been her she has a he's not a stepbrother. He's actually a stepbrother by marriage. So he's not related to her. His name is Christopher. And he is renting the guest house, but it's a new property. She has here in California, at least in this community, you almost always tent a new property for termites,
I didn't
which
realize that.
totally freaked me out when I saw it the
Would
first
freak me
time.
out too.
I mean, it's like this giant circus tent that encloses the whole house. Or I've seen churches, I mean, gigantic tents. And then they, have this hose running in where they run poison
Gosh.
into the house. Also freaks me out because we love animals, and so
Yeah.
I'm worried about anything that
Yeah.
could have gotten in there. And then you can't live there for 3 or 4 days until the
Wow.
gas dissipates, and then you're supposed to, of course, take their word that the poison is gone.
Right.
And so, yeah, of course, I started thinking, well, how can I kill somebody in that house? But I didn't
Exactly.
necessarily I, I didn't necessarily want to make it too obvious. Um, I'm, somebody just happens to crawl into the house under the tent or something like that. Let's see. I'm trying to think how much I should give away, but let's just say that a body is found in the
Yes.
house as they're trying to move back in. And during this time, Christopher, um, who is uh, who is also the town vet, which makes it all really fun. We have lots of animals. Um, has has moved in to sleep on Ariel's couch, so they've become roommates, kind of platonic roommates, but we'll see what happens down the road in the
I
series
was
because, as I
wondering,
said,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, they're not related, but it's also a kind of a unusual relationship.
Yeah.
So Ariel's stepsister was married to his stepfather or some such thing like that. I don't know. So stepsister's mother was married to his father. That's what it is. Um, so so let's see, what else can I tell you without giving too much away? We also have neighbors.
I
We
love the
have
neighbors.
Yes, I do too. I do too. We have I'm gonna look up my characters' names because I sometimes forget them, but you can probably help me with that. Um,
Well, I enjoyed it. Let's talk about Emily first, because
oh,
she
Emily.
is the
Yes.
epitome of the nosy neighbor. I mean,
Yes.
and as a reader, she was cracking me up. And then I thought, oh my gosh, if I lived next door to someone like that, that would probably be the body found under. But,
No,
but although she's not a bad person, I don't want to make it
she's
sound
not.
she's, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she's really not. And that's one of the things that I have found here. I mean, it's a small town and people find
Yeah.
pay attention. And we have a neighborhood board, the neighborhood, website where people post, about
Yeah.
what's going on. One of the it's great for things like, oh, my dog got away, and has anybody
Yeah.
seen it, and all
Yeah.
of that sort of thing. Other things, other things, I think people, their Ring camera caught somebody's dog peeing on their lawn and they post it and they shame you and stuff like that.
Right.
So I get that too. You want everybody's dogs on your lawn, but it's some of what I have seen people post about is where Emily comes from. And
Yeah.
she's just very, very concerned with appearances,
Yes.
and she's also got, she's got kind of a difficult backstory, and she's got a little boy, and
Yeah.
she's got a lot going on. Um, she's got a little boy and a little dog, so that's great. And then we have Shirley, next door neighbor, with her husband, and
Yeah.
and they, Shirley kind of becomes Ariel's, friend, even though a best friend, even though she's a bit older, but she's kind of a free spirit. And you have a lot of those people here too. I mean, people who were
Yeah.
were kind of, they're old now, but they were hippies, and
Yeah.
and so they don't necessarily feel like they have to dye their hair or do all of this stuff. They're
Right.
very, very natural. That's where Shirley comes from in there. So.
I
Any
really,
other
yes.
characters you're thinking of?
Oh, I mean, you had a great group of them. I think those were kind of the main two. I think just
Hmm.
because I live out in the country now, but before when we lived in a neighborhood, you know all these characters in a way because you just know
You do.
who's keeping track of what and
Yeah,
yeah. And so
absolutely.
that made it fun. Yeah. And I think part of the
Yeah.
fun of it too was you have some really witty, zingy dialogue and just ways of the characters interacting. And I even saw I don't know if it was reviews or what, but they compared you to like Janet Ivanovich and David Rosenfelt, and I can see
So
that.
nice.
Yeah.
So nice.
So
I love that. I love that.
yeah. So I was
Yeah.
curious, does that just come out? Like, is that something when you go back and edit, do you add in more or because it made it really fun to read?
Yeah, actually that comes first. I love writing dialogue. And I
Cool.
find that if I was left to my druthers, I would have the entire book be dialogue. And I think that maybe comes from my background was public relations. I was in public relations in Wisconsin, worked for a
Yeah.
bank holding company, wrote press releases, stuff like that. So I really didn't have a lot of experience writing um, things like how people moved across a room or things,
Right.
that sort of thing. I would have them sauntering across the room, and then I realized, oh, people really don't saunter. You probably can just have them cross the room, or maybe just have them start on that side of the room.
Right.
But but so those things come a little more with more difficulties to
Okay.
me than the dialogue does. My first editor, my publisher is in London, and my first
Yeah.
editor, Edwin, was a very proper British gentleman, and he loved they started publishing with my second book, and I had tea with him in London
Oh,
one day.
fun.
And my first trip to London, it was so great. And there I am with um, Edwin Buckwalter, and in having the quote London tea. And he said, I can't do an English accent, so I won't even try. But he just thought my dialogue was so different, and so and I'm thinking. I'm just kind of a Midwest girl, but if that sounds good to you because you're in London and Brit, that's great. I'm very happy
That's
about that.
yeah.
Um,
And
but
sorry,
he was
everyone, if you
he
hear
was great.
barking, I don't know if you can hear the barking. The
A little
we
bit.
had okay. If it's not too bad, Boomer's
No.
letting me know that the delivery arrived
Oh, okay.
right now. So, anyways, I'm sorry
Boober.
to
I love
interrupt.
the name.
Yes,
No,
yes.
not at all a problem. I'm sure that's going to happen here too.
Timing,
Oh,
right?
not a problem. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So let's see. Dialogue. Oh,
Oh, so
and then
dialogue.
I
So
then
yes.
I go to the yeah. See there?
Yes. Hey, Boomer. Sorry.
It's
All right, that's
okay.
my guard dog,
Not a
everyone.
problem. Can I see him? Do I get to see him?
I don't know if he'll come. Hey, Boomer, come here. Boomer. Like, wait a minute, Mom. There's still an intruder.
Yeah.
Come here. Come here. Can you? I don't know if we can.
See you.
Can we see Boomer? There's Boomer.
I see you. Oh, black lab,
Sorry.
just like we have
Black
a black
lab.
lab in the books. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And in
Yeah.
fact, the book I'm working on just now, Ariel goes to dog sit a black lab and an
Oh,
Australian Shepherd.
fun. Oh, fun.
And the black lab is named Scout. So yeah, yeah.
I
And they
love
they
it.
belong to the veterinary assistant. So, and she lives on Cannery Row, so I'm able to bring in the Cannery Row kind of,
Oh, fun. Oh, very
Steinbeck
fun.
fun of it. Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Well, sorry if anyone's watching on YouTube, hopefully they got to see Boomer too. It's not the best view of
Well,
him.
I
Thanks. Well, thanks for putting up with the interruption. And yeah, I mean it's he's a good guard dog. But let's also talk about some of like Monty. You had some really fun dogs in this book, and I know you have three dogs, right?
yes, yes. I
Okay.
have I have Spike, Tara, and Shyla. And
I love
two of
it.
them are downstairs right now. All rescues. I was saying I did put them as my background, but I didn't use them because then you can't see me amongst the puppies. Um, but they're Spike and Tara are 9 now. They're getting older, but
Okay.
Tara is a husky cattle dog mix, and Spike is a Chow Shepherd box mix, our big boy,
Oh,
and
wow.
then we have a
Wow.
border
Okay.
collie mix.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
fun.
Spike is actually the dog that Monty, our dog series, is based on, and
I
Monty
was
is
wondering.
in every book. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He's that that big goofball.
Yes.
Everything silly that Spike does is going to be attributed to Monty. Monty
I love
knows.
it. I love
Um,
it.
yeah, yeah. He's a sweetheart. He's just the sweetest. The girls are too, but Shyla, especially the border collie, can we call her a mean girl because she has to boss everybody around.
Yeah. You know that the personalities are fun and so I was curious if you had based any of the dogs in the book off of real dogs because I felt like the personalities came through.
Oh, thanks. I'm
Yeah.
glad they did. I'm sure Tara and Tyler will make appearances too, or they'll feel very hurt. So,
Yeah. Well, if they want to come on camera, you just let me know. They're welcome to. And yeah, I don't
I'd have to
know.
go open up the door. No, we'll leave them
Okay.
downstairs.
That sounds good. Now, I was curious too, do your other books, your other series, do they have any animal characters? Just because with Sit Stay Read, I love recommending any books with animals.
Yeah, actually, my coffee house series has Frank, the sheepdog,
Okay.
who
Oh,
is
fun.
Maggie, my main character's and and Frank is wonderful. And Frank was
Yes.
actually named after a really good friend of mine who made the mistake of asking to be a character in my book. So I made him the sheep dog.
I love it.
Little did he know that he was going to be in every book. Oh, but Frank is great. And then I have another dog who also comes to um, after Maggie, probably about halfway through the series in a book called Murder a la Mocha. And Mocha
I
is
love
Chihuahua.
it.
And
Oh,
she
cool.
joins the family. Yeah, she's based on a dog that my husband and I found abandoned. We were
Oh,
abandoned, astray next to Costco here in
oh
Monterey.
my gosh.
And we stopped and I had, because we're dog people, we have treats everywhere. So I had treats
Yep.
in the car and a blanket, and we were able to
Oh,
finally get her to come over, and we took her home. But first we took her to the ASPCA, and they were closing like in 10 minutes. We're going to keep her overnight, and didn't have a chance to check for a uh, what do you call it? The
microchip.
yes, the chip. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
And so I think it was like on a Friday too, and they're going to be open all weekend, and I couldn't just leave this poor scared thing
Yeah.
alone in a cage. So we ended up taking her home and cleaning her up, which was a major chore because she was. Anyways, I won't go into detail. She had fleas and she had
Oh, poor thing.
and she yes, but she stayed with us. I managed to how did I do that? I managed to track down her owner. I think it was
Oh,
from
wow.
signs that we went past. And I we ended up returning her the
Okay.
next day. I think what it was we had that's what it was. We had the chip, but it had never been updated. And
Okay.
one thing, if you have a dog that has a chip, you have to make
Mhm.
sure that you update the chip when you move because that's what happened here. We didn't
Okay.
have an address, we had a name, and I was able to track down the name and find the owner. But when we this poor thing, her name wasn't Mocha in real life, it was Dulce, but
Oh,
which I
wow.
thought
I
was a
love it.
great name. But
Yeah.
had fleas and managed to give them to all three of my dogs.
Oh,
But but when we found the owner and took her back, um, didn't see that it was, oh, well, that's good. She ran away when there were, firecrackers going off the other night, and thanks, and kind of like casual. And
Yeah.
me, I mean, I'm just so crazy about my
I am
dogs that
too.
it's like
Yeah.
losing a child.
Yeah.
And so I drove home thinking, well, I hope that was the owner. And what if it's not the owner and it was just somebody trying to get rid of us? And maybe something's going on in the house back there. And so that's the basis of Berta
Okay.
Mocha. And that's also the book that introduces Ariel. She's the dog sitter at
Oh,
that house.
okay.
So,
Oh, fun. Fun.
yep,
I love all
yep, we
these
have
connections.
dogs galore.
And that is the kind of books we like. Now, what is up next for Ariel? Because this is book one in a series. So,
Yes, yes, it is. The next one I think is going to be called Shepherds and Shadows, but
okay.
we'll see if that stays that way. That's the working title right now. And Ariel is going to be going to do some house sitting at her friend's house, at her friend's flat actually, and she lives above a fudge shop in on Canterbury. And Cannery Row is, I mean, it's very historical, Steinbeck, all the used to be
Oh, very
sardine
cool.
canneries and things like that. And the Monterey Aquarium is right there too.
Oh,
It's
okay.
never been to the Monterey Aquarium.
I
It's the
haven't
most
either.
wonderful place. It's our the Monterey Bay here is 2 miles deep, and there are all
Wow.
sorts of wonderful creatures that live in the
Oh, wow.
Monterey Bay area. And the aquarium, which was started by the Packard family, like Hewitt Packard
Okay.
people,
Okay. Wow.
Julie
That,
Packard.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's and in fact Julie just retired this past year, but the
Wow.
aquarium is amazing. They
Wow.
have, some days where you can go and pet things. And but anyways, the aquarium anchors one end of Cannery Row, and then the rest of it is a lot of shops, like t-shirt shops and candy shops and Pebble Beach golf shops and all sorts of, there's nice, hotels down there, nice restaurants and coffee shops. But there's a little of everything, and it's one of my favorite places, especially very early in the morning. I used to walk down with the dogs before
Cool.
it opened up, and it'd be, 7 o'clock in the morning. I think the first time that I went down there after I moved here, it was 5 a.m. and I had just moved here. I had I was living on a mattress, and I had bought everything that I thought I needed, including my coffee maker, because as you can
Well,
probably see
that's
from the
that's
books,
important.
dogs and coffee. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. But I forgot to buy coffee. So I had a
Oh
coffee maker, but
no.
I had no coffee to make it. So I got up at like 3:30 in the morning with this terrible caffeine deprivation headache.
Oh
So
no.
when I saw that Starbucks in Cannery Row opened up at 5 a.m., I decided I was going to walk down there, which I did with my cell phone and the flashlight on my cell phone. I didn't realize that the coastal trail was going to be pitch black. And
Oh
that's
wow.
actually where the first
I was
scenes
gonna say
of
that's
Poison
familiar.
and Pooches come from. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I went down there, and so I walked all the way down the coastal trail to Cannery Road. I say all the way down; it's about a mile down. Got my coffee, and then walked back in, and my flashlight lost its battery. But I was fine. I lived. Um, Anyways, Cannery Row has this. I have this war about Cannery Row, especially early in the morning. So Ariel is going to go there to babysit for her friends' dogs, including Scout the Black Lab, and she is the first night that she's there is a book club night, because I introduce a book
Okay.
club in the first book. So all
Oh
of our
yes,
friends,
yes.
Emily and all of our friends from the book club are going to be at Lucy's flat. And then so we introduce all of those characters and have some fun talking about the book that they're going to be reading,
Okay.
which Lucy has found on one of the shelves of the flat that she's
Oh,
renting.
fun.
And then Ariel takes me to the Monterey airport, which for a very early morning flight, and is comes back to the flat and makes a disturbing discovery, shall we say.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Well, and you left, I'm trying to think of how to ask this question because no spoilers, but there's a little bit of an opening. Will some things come back? I think you know what I'm talking about, hopefully,
I do. I
without
do.
giving too much
Yes.
away. So I felt like that was
Yes.
deliberate. Maybe I should ask that. Was that a
Yes.
deliberate? Okay. I mean, obviously you wrote it,
It
so it was
was a
deliberate,
deliberate move. Yeah.
but was it deliberate with future stories? Maybe that's the question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Um, yes, it was. And
Okay.
I would tell you how that came about, but it probably would give too much away,
Yes, yes.
because that's not exactly the way I was going to end it.
Okay.
But it is the way I ended, kind of up in the air like that, and yes, that subject is going to come back in future books.
Okay.
Not necessarily in this, not in this next one. It's going to be alluded to,
Okay.
but you're going to have to wait for any sort of closure.
That sounds great. I'll leave it there because, like I said, I don't want to give too, but
Okay,
I was really curious. So I love that. So, and now everyone's just going to have to read it to see what the heck we're talking
that's
about.
right.
So there you
That's
go.
right.
There you go. Well, what is the best way for readers to connect with you?
I have a website, and it is sandrabalzo.com. And I also have an email address, which is sandy@sandrabalzo.com. So you're welcome to use either of those. I'm also
Okay.
on Facebook, again with
Oh,
Sandra Balzo. I have extra Sandra Balzo, which is kind of my personal one, not a lot of book stuff on it. And then there's Sandra Balzo Mysteries, which is probably would be the best
okay.
one for that. So
Fantastic. Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure. I love talking books, dogs, and coffee and
Coffee.
death, obviously.
Exactly. Well, as Mr. fellow mystery writers, we have to look for those moments. So, everyone, if you want a really fun, witty read with a great mystery, wonderful four-legged characters, make sure you check out Poison and Pooches. And until next time, keep your tails wagging and pages turning. Thanks for joining me today. Sit, Stay, Read is a part of the Authors on the Air Global Network. If you enjoyed today's author interview, be sure to leave a review and share the episode with a fellow animal-loving reader. If you're curious about the world of working dogs and wilderness adventures, please check out my books at KathleenDonnelly.com. Until next time, curl up with your best furry friend and sit, stay, read.